Sudden cardiac arrest, believe it or not, Kevin, is the number one cause of death among student athletes.
Yeah.
The number one. And it still remains the number one cause of death in the nation.
Yeah. Cardiac arrest. Yep.
You know, and so what we're trying to do there is let's create this awareness. And when they're going in there, most people don't know the true statistics behind it. So since I know it, I try to diffuse everything. I try to take that anxiety, trying to make it welcoming where, hey, Kevin, come on in. You're going to go to this table here. They'll check you in. Next thing you know, they'll direct you to what your next step is.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? And the beauty of it, as they go, then we do also a CPR demonstration.
Nice.
What is CPR? You know what I mean? Most kids, how do you do
they
that?
don't know.
They'll think it's right away mouth resuscitation. Well, believe it or not, that's not even the case anymore.
Right.
You just do your pushes, you know, and then we go staying alive, do. So, like, we teach these kids how to, if their friend collapses, what's the immediate response?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The other thing is, what is an actual AED, an automated external
I was hoping
defibrillator?
you'd bring this up.
Right? So how is that used? Like, if I put it, most in the movies, what they do is, like, I'm not saying if you've seen Die Hard, they'll pump it, they'll kill the enemy with that, you know. But that's such a false reading. The only time an AED is going to actually work if somebody's experienced sudden cardiac arrest.
Yeah.
If there's a bad arrhythmia there, that's when they'll put that, and the machine knows that, hey, I gotta give this electric shock.
Got it.
You know,
Yeah.
and the only thing you don't want to do is when you put those is touch the person.
Yeah,
Because
like a
then you
taser.
can get it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the only time. So we teach these kids at that age, and you know, parents are around that, so they get to see that too, in case their son collapses. Like, they'll know what to do.
Think about it. Like in a normal circumstance, the first time someone might use an AED is when it's actually most needed.
Right.
Except when you're at the heart screening and you go through this process of learning CPR, learning how to apply the AED, listen to its instructions, then it's not your first time. If you're ever in a social situation, you're at a place where someone might need that to be executed upon them, then it's not your first time hearing the AED instructions, seeing the AED machine, and there's familiarity to it in a non-threatening situation.
Right.
Yeah, and that's, like you said, the AED actually talks to you. It tells you clear.
Yeah.
You know, so it actually talks to you, and it helps you put it on. So
and it covers that gap between emergency services getting on site and that person actually making it. And a lot of times, I mean, that could be 10, 15, 20 minutes in some cases. I mean, hopefully emergency services get there as soon as 5. But if you're not in a centralized location, it might be more than 5 minutes. But those first 5 minutes are really critical when someone's actually having a heart attack or a cardiac event.
Yeah, there's a nonprofit that I heard of, and I think they're in like Brazil or Portugal or somewhere where there's a lot of traffic, right? And the first responders can't get to places. And if somebody's having a cardiac arrest, seconds are everything, you know? And with a lot of emergency responses. But this nonprofit, basically what they do is they have guys on motorcycles that carry around an AED, and they go to it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's I'm getting goosebumps thinking about that, because just think about how many lives they could be saving, you know.
Well, we can see the importance, right?
Yeah.
If other countries are doing that, you know, we've been very fortunate to be able to travel to Europe, and there's practically an AED in every corner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here, you know, I didn't start seeing them until just recently. I started seeing them here and there, you know. One of the other things that we do is that we actually provide free AEDs to local high schools.
Wow.
Because believe it or not, they usually have one, maybe two. If anything was to happen on the track, we're trying to see if every coach has one. So because that's where normally the situation happens. Well, why run down to the nurse's office to pick that up? Or where is it? So
well, and it's like, if you don't have a plan, sorry to cut you off, but if you don't have a plan, and if you don't train, just like in anything, you know, if a guy comes in here with a gun and we don't know how to operate a firearm under stress, we can't do that. Or if somebody falls and has a heart attack, we don't know what to, you know, if we don't know what to do, then that is like life or death, you know?
Correct.
Well, and to his point, like, let's say there's after school sports, right? There's soccer, football, volleyball, basketball, whatever, baseball. Well, that's going to be on a field or in a court. And that's going to be separate from where oftentimes the AED is, which is in the nurse's station or the main office, but it's also after school hours. So if practice is running till 5, 6, 7 p.m., the rest of the admin staff is gone. So you need to have AEDs accessible. And by no means is this like, oh, the districts aren't doing good. The school, they're doing great.
We're not,
But we need more. We want them to be in the hands of coaches right there. Because like you're saying earlier, sometimes it's a matter of seconds. And sometimes a minute passes, 2 minute passes. You have to not only have someone who understands CPR, to do that right in the moment, but then you have to have someone to know to go get the AED who knows what they're looking for,
Right.
and then to get it there fast enough to
Right.
then follow the instructions of the AED before emergency services gets there. So there's these huge, they're huge, but there's like these really big important milestones in the timing of the cardiac event between it beginning and emergency services getting there, that every second counts, but every single step and people knowing how to do those steps is important.
Yeah.
Yeah.